And we're back.
No, we're not.
Oh, yeah.
Backety schmackety.
But yes, playing 2 weeks in a row. We are both spoiled, and then I'm sure something will come up next week.
As it usually does.
It is true. The biggest enemy of all D&D is scheduling.
The final boss. But at least for now, we did manage to beat it, and we are here.
Yes, I'm
It's
just
true.
getting the last little bits of stuff I need up on my end. Do-do-do-do.
We are here,
Last-
and we have company.
Company?
Of the four-legged variety.
Ah,
Hello.
very nice.
Which one is it?
It's the loud and barky one.
No, I just love it.
Nice.
I just love at the speed that Kaz answered hello. It almost implies that they are the four-legged one.
Oh, you don't know. You've never seen me.
Considering they turned into an elk last session.
I sure did.
I mean, the furry community does have a big overlap with the D&D community. Just saying.
This is very true.
On the internet, no one knows you're a dog.
I'll woo.
Oh, woo.
Oh.
Should we introduce ourselves?
Yes.
I
Yes, we
guess.
should.
I mean, we can go without it. I just saying.
Oh,
you know,
could. We absolutely
little-
could.
a little bit of
could and
variety,
should.
you know? Shake it up
Yeah, yeah,
things. Keep them on their toes. Keep them guessing.
Could and should are two different words.
Yeah. Hey there, I'm Citric. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Citric King, everywhere being places like Blue Sky. Twitter less and less, and just flat out not posting there anymore. Like the AI shit is just gone way too bad. Instagram, Tumblr, etc. Trying to keep up a schedule of monthly commissions, so keep up an eye open whenever March comes around if you want a slot. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much me. I'm gonna throw the microphone to Skelly.
Oh, you got me around the head. Hi, I'm Skelly Alpha. Can be found on Twitch and Blue Sky under the same handles. For next week, schedule is still a little bit of a work in progress. I don't have it out quite yet, but I know at the very least, on Friday, I'll be playing over on Hatling Hatteroo's channel, doing a side mission in D&D, fighting some kind of super boss, which is going to be pretty fun.
Ooh.
Other than that, I think I know I was going to talk with you, Zan, after the session about working on another abiotic factor day. Other than that, the rest of the schedule is a little bit up in the air. But expect some more drawing practice, especially. And
Yeah.
I'm setting up a little bit of like a donathon event. First week of March, it's looking like. That's gonna have some fun events and stuff in it as well. So if people want to participate, there's gonna be a lot of audience interaction. So look forward to that. And with that, speaking of cool people to talk to, I will send it over to Zan.
Hey, it's me. This week you can find me over twitch.tv/analystgrim or over on Blue Sky as Analyst Grim. But this week I'm pretty much off, save for Thursday. You can catch me over at twitch.tv/MontyGlue at 7 p.m. For some more Dungeon of the Mad Mage. But yeah, unfortunately this week is pretty slow for me, so that's unfortunately it for me. So I will throw the talking skull over to Saris.
Hello. You can find me on most of the internet at TixDixel. I deleted my Twitter. You cannot find me there.
Yo!
But you can find me everywhere else at TixDixel. Since Friday, I'm not. Skelly is doing something else. Not sure when we're doing randomizer, but that's a conversation that we can have
Yes.
another time after the stream.
Absolutely.
I believe Saturday and Sunday this week are off days. So I'm just here. I'm here today. I think that's about it. Yeah, Kaz.
Hello. I am Catastrophe Cost. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet. Whether or not I'm active there is up in the air. I'm actually heading out for a little mini vacation tomorrow
Oh,
until like sometime on Wednesday. Nothing fancy, just me and my partner need to get the out of here. So taking a little bit of a brain break. Indefinitely, and then when I come back, um I am pretty much in go mode for SoccerCon prep. I need to be. So if you want to watch me sew stuff, I did finish a piece of one of my competition costumes for this upcoming Rose City Comic Con, which is a ways away, and you might ask me why I'm starting right now, and it's because I want to get into this contest, and they open in the summertime, and the more you have done, the better chances you get. So that's why. So I have little bits and pieces of that going. But yeah, expect me to disappear for a little bit, and then I will be back in full force. So yeah, I guess that just leaves Vaughn.
Yeah, hi, you've already found me here at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on Blue Sky. Yeah, I'm going to change up my whole thing now since I'm basically abandoning Twitter too. But yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky and YouTube at Burnout Vaughn, and you can find me on Patreon at Burnout's Bar, where, again, we now have 2 rewards up. We'll eventually have more someday, hopefully. But right now we have both the, oh, I forgot what it was. We have a Ranger subclass, and then we have 13 different homebrew pack boons up there for you to check out. So if those tickle your fancy, they're over there. As for schedule, the only things we got on the schedule this week are... what should be Phase of Our Lives, and then Saved by the Spell. Hopefully, nothing changes. But with that out of the way, it's time to play our lovely theme song. So let me just do.
Fucking creep.
I feel like
I love the
I feel
meme of the
like
guy just. I love the meme, like, send dudes. Like, do you mean nudes? No, send dudes. I'm in a fight. I need more
Like,
men.
I'm hungry, damn it.
I feel like current state is like Theros' safe space and heavenly space, because I have nudes and cheese.
Heck yeah.
Yep. Hi, Vaughn. Welcome back.
Welcome, welcome.
Hi. Well, I will say this. I can volunteer to do the intro because I did spend my inspiration last session.
Sure, you're more than
Go
welcome
for
to.
it.
Yeah, I'm
You
going
don't
to
want
need
me to fumble through the intro?
Yeah.
I think that might be a little harder on your end, Zan. But,
No,
yeah.
Sam wants to go. I say we let him.
I was gonna
Happy
say.
session 20, everybody.
Okay, but whatever he says, that's what happened. So
Yup.
Oh,
Sam,
crazy.
you
we're
have the
all
chance to
leveled up.
rewrite
That's
history.
insane.
You have the chance to rewrite history. Would you take it?
Of course. But go ahead, Vaughn.
Okay, it's very easy to summarize what happened last time. We had a fucking fight.
Yeah? That it?
And
I mean, After the
Yeah.
fight, there was some investigation and some what will probably lead to moral quandaries because we definitely killed one of the attackers, maimed another, searched the dead one, stole his gold, his hand axes, the letter assigning him our assassination at the hands of the Blood Moon Guild, or at least somebody who had traveled this path. They knew it was going to be a group of people, so, tomato, tomato. We were already going to be on their shit list no matter what, so we're not really that phased. Also got a signet ring. Then we decided we were going to attempt to try to question the only person left alive and with all of their pieces, and that didn't run off. But he refused to wake up, and then we decided to, hey, what are we going to do? Are we just going to, yeah, let's just leave him behind. The mist will sort him out, or he will live.
I did write this down. I need you to know that those rolls were a 3, a natural 1, and a 2 to wake up.
The heaviest liver in all of Cartagas.
I mean, yes,
Yeah,
I literally put
we
my
didn't try.
I literally put my axe blade into him, and it did not wake him.
You did. That was the natural 1.
Clearly.
But yeah, that about wraps it up.
I mean, if we have to add one more detail, we did get the name of the mercenary band. They were called the Wither Arrow, which by now might as well recall themselves as Broken Arrow because they only have one member left.
I was just going to say just the tip, because that's all that is left.
Hey. They were the backline. They were more of the butt of the arrow.
Fair.
We twisted that tip right. Anyway, innuendos aside.
We ended the session with everyone deciding we needed a long rest. If I remember correctly.
I believe we did.
Yes, because Branson was very much close to bleeding out and needed his spell slots back.
Mhm.
Yeah. I believe the last thing we did was scooch away from where we got attacked, but
Yes.
You did. You did, in fact, do that. And there is this moment where as the 6 of you collectively sort of move up, down, however you want to word it, the path. The party collectively needs to roll me a couple perception checks. I'm gonna start with the first one.
Collectively, you mean an average of all of us, or just
Yep.
individual rolls?
Nope.
Ooh.
It's everyone. As you are trying to find a new place to go, I need you all to roll me a perception check.
Do I get advantage for standing on top of the wagon?
You do.
Heck yeah. Hiya. Not 20 for a 28.
Oh, damn.
Humphrey sees everything.
yeah, we're gonna miss that.
Does anybody else wish to roll me a perception check?
I shall. Sorry, I was pulling up the window.
Do one.
What
Two
the
nat
fuck?
20s.
Heck yeah. You're no slouch yourself.
You know, they
I feel
can't
like
all
I might as well
be
try, but a humble 22.
22.
Branson's currently unconscious in one of the wagons, so...
Oh, did he just decide to conk out?
That's what he did. He literally was... He was at, like, almost... He was at less than half hit points with no spell slots and everything else. He was like, are we going to move? Yes, good. And then he just climbed into the wagon that Lychee doesn't sleep in and just crash there, Family Guy pose.
I really love that has become like that has become
The
the station
infirmary.
for anyone. Yeah. Yeah.
We have a mobile infirmary.
One, but
Exactly one.
it's there.
Listen, have you seen the funding of the school department?
We got defunded, so you gotta take what you can get.
Yeah.
And I will actually be bringing us back temporarily. You'll have to use a bit of imagination to imagine that this is further in the forest, but I'm actually going to bring us back to the map for just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Humphrey and a Festial with 2 natural 20s. There are a couple things that you see along the path. Humphrey, I am going to actually give you different information than I'm going to give a Festial.
Ooh.
Makes it a little bit more interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Humphrey, with your eye out farther, something crosses your attention down a ways. And it's odd because this entire time you've been walking, this road has left completely straight, right? There's just been the one path. There's been trees and everywhere, and occasionally little pools of water from the natural swamp that has occurred, but largely the path in front of you has always been just straight. But down a ways, and I do mean a ways, you swear you can see a point, trees, a fork in the road, maybe. A Festial. As you all are getting ready to set up camp, you notice something particular in the dirt at your feet. Feels very par for the course. But you see lines almost drawn in this sort of almost grid-like sense, and I will actually send you a picture from my DM's notes of what that actually looks like in the ground. If you will give me just 2 seconds to take a picture. If Discord would be nice, actually.
No, that's asking too much.
And I am actually going to be posting this in your Roll20 journal, so that way, if you decide to share it with everybody, you will be able to. I'm so sorry for the delay. We are struggling with technology a little bit. This happens fairly regularly with me in Roll20. I do apologize. But in the meantime, I will say in just a description sense, it looks almost actually, you know what? Roll me a survival check while I stall for Roll20 loading time.
Sure thing. It'll be 22.
Oh yeah. You think this might actually be a map of something? Like when, like, you know how sometimes people will like draw with a stick in the ground? Like either a pathway or like try to signal something of some kind. That's what you're actually you're like swear that you're that's what you swear that you're looking at. And We are almost there. I am so sorry.
You're good.
Roll 20 is it is giving me the wheel of death, in case you were curious.
Oh
So
no.
Lovely. I guess
um
while we're waiting on it, does the map or do the lines look like
there we go.
it belongs to anything?
Check in your handouts.
Areas. Okay. Huh. Huh. Okay. I think that does answer my question. Maybe. Yeah, who's close to me?
As far as I'm
Humphrey
aware,
is.
your position is as it is on the map.
Okay.
You should be able to move your tokens as well.
Yeah. Ophistial's going to climb over to the cart and get Humphrey's attention. Humphrey, I
Yes?
spotted something a little odd. Do you want to come look at this?
You're not the only one. There seems to be something ahead.
Is it dangerous?
Doesn't seem to be moving. Let me go down. Humphrey will.
Okay. Yeah, just look
Go-
at this real quick.
And I will permit you to see it as well, Citric.
Yeah. What do you think this is?
I'm not entirely sure. However, it looks like it could potentially be a play, if that makes sense. Like those guys that attacked us. A plan, perhaps?
But just drawn here on the ground.
I mean, if you think about the way that they were all positioned, we have two up front, with the two in the top. It looks like they were trying to flank us. And then the one that came in from behind might have been instructed to get inside the cart.
Does it look like it is like deeply embedded on the ground, or is just like a quick drawing?
Roll me a survival check.
Will do. Damn it. 420 help. There we go. That's a 6.
Hard to say with how moist the ground is. It looks like even a quick drawing would be pretty easy to like move the mud around.
I mean, if you have any other theories, I'd be happy to hear them, but based on how we were attacked, that's what it looks like to me. It is quite a ways away from where we were. They could have done their planning well ahead of us.
That is true.
We know that these guys were hired, or at least enticed, to attack our caravan or some other caravan.
Do you happen to have any paper or quill with you?
I don't, I'm sorry.
Actually, never mind. I think I have a scholar's pack. Give me a second. Let me check my inventory. Yep, I do. So I should have ink and paper. You will see Humphrey take a piece of paper from inside his cape and a quill and a small bottle of ink. Might as well just keep track of this. After all, we've been keeping track of the scavenger's marks.
Probably not a bad idea.
I agree with you that this does seem like directions, but we could be wrong and be some sort of sigil. So just in
Looks off
case,
for
keep
a
a
sigil. Yeah. No. I agree. Let's record it. We can show everyone. Maybe someone who knows more about this stuff than I do. But, you know, I've seen a handful of sigils in my life, and this doesn't look right.
On that note, if you don't mind looking ahead, what do you make of of that point? And Humphrey points in the area he was looking before.
I will examine the area.
He points straight ahead, and at first, you don't think you notice anything. What is there to notice? And then it dawns on you that in the middle, what seems to be in the middle of the road is a tree. It's not just one tree. It's a part of the forest, like a forest line. And then you've been in the forest enough, the gears start to turn. You realize that's a fork in the road. While this is going on, Razvan, on a 22, you think for a moment, and it's very faint, but you swear that you hear, maybe it's your imagination, but you almost feel like you hear the clinking of metal. It's very faint.
From any particular direction?
To the south.
He'll
Behind you.
look behind him.
Oh, you don't immediately see anything other than, and I will share this with you as this and remind everyone that right now there is a bit of like a very thin fog or mist. It doesn't really feel like something that is like hard to see through, or it doesn't obscure anything. It's also kind of almost like a passing cloud in that like it doesn't consume or take over the whole space. It's very thin, very faint. But as a result, as you look behind, you look past Lena and you look past Vern, and you see the woods, you see the swamp. You don't necessarily, you think maybe for a minute you see the bodies, but it's hard to tell from this as far away as you are. It feels like you should see something, but you see nothing.
Alright, then he will take a position where Humphrey was sitting at the front of the wagon.
I just noticed your note. Give me 2 seconds. That was an error from last session.
No worries.
Because I was you. How about now?
There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
And so you head up to the front. I'm so sorry, I missed the. Are you hopping on the?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. The ox appears to be chewing on some roots or something on the ground below. Lychee looks over to you and goes, "What's up? What's going on?"
Good question. It would appear that a few of our companions are investigating something, but I figured it would be smart for at least someone to man the reins, as it were.
Yeah.
Apolo-
Nope. That's fair.
Apologies, we've come across two different things. One is that the road ahead, it seems to be forking. Mr. Lichi, you are familiar with the road, right?
He's staring at you like with a slightly agape mouth, eyes narrowed, brows furrowed, and is slightly speechless when you say, there's a fork in the road, and Mr. Lishi, you seem to be familiar. Yeah, this is a road I take all the time. You said there's a fork?
Yes. There seems to be.
He's gonna roll himself a perception check. It must be. Is it like far down a ways? I'm not seeing it. But I've never seen a fork in the road.
And that leads us to our second point, that Mr. Fessiel found some drawings in the ground. He points in. So actually, no. Since I have the note now, I show the drawing to everyone else.
Okay. And I will reveal the drawing to everybody.
We were debating whether or not this might have been the plan of attack of the mercenaries we met before, but with the forking road ahead, I'm wondering if it's meant to show something. The idea that there might be a third row, even.
I see what you mean.
Yes, with the forking ahead,
Mm.
the sign would be pointing to some other way to the right.
Like a hidden path?
Exactly.
Or perhaps the correct path?
Well, that is the problem. If Mr. Litchi is telling us he's not familiar with this fork, like, it should not be here. All three of them are just unknowns.
Yeah, the way that this road folks is awfully strange.
And the fact that we found, I guess, a cipher as to where the third bite might be just before it, it's awfully convenient. I don't know what to make of that.
And here's the question. If it was here, drawn in the ground, that means somebody around either needed to use it or wanted us to find it.
Right, and the second one is the one that worries me.
Me too.
Not to poke too many holes in curiosities, but is our stalwart companion still injured? Looking towards the area where Branson is.
Mr. Branson is still recovering. I don't doubt if things become less pleasant for us, he would have no trouble waking up. He seems to be very jumpy about that.
Perhaps we park the caravan for now and just take a few more minutes to catch our breath. Maybe a short rest.
We were in the process, as an aside, if this was not clear, of heading towards a long rest.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sorry. This is just encapsulating a few moments before then.
Then perhaps we move the caravan to the side and make a small encampment.
I think that would
Not
be
a
a
bad
wise
idea.
idea.
As long as we're safe for now, we can think on this. Maybe something will show itself in the middle of the night. Like it likes to do.
As for
It
what daylight we have left, I personally was not injured, other than my pride, in our previous battles, so I have no problem leading an incursion if anyone wants to go with me, just to try to make out this third path.
Do you
Yeah.
think that's wise without the full party available?
Again, just a small one. The idea is not to get too far away, just to get an idea of what we're getting into.
I
Just a scouting party.
Right.
Well, we know people are out here targeting either us or some caravan, and if anybody decided to hide out,
Humphrey is one of the most skilled individuals I have ever seen. If they decide to go out and scout and find information, I am certain they will succeed unimpeded. You'll give Humphrey a wink and a bardic inspiration.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah, I mean, I trust your judgment, Humphrey.
If you don't
I
mind
am still a
leaving-
little worn out from the fight, so I don't think I should join you.
Then, if you don't mind leaving it up to me, again, it will be just a short scouting ahead, and if anything happens, just shout out, and I will be back in as soon as I can.
You're not going alone. I'll go with you.
Huh,
Lena,
alright.
do you
Mr.
mind
Weston.
watching the Elks?
Certainly, I can keep an eye on things around here. I profess I'm not the quietest person.
That's alright. I'll help you.
She'll give you a small little smile as she kind of like starts heading up toward the front.
Well, and I'm certainly not going to just leave all of my belongings in the middle of the woods unattended. So, at the very least, you also have me here.
Of course, Master Lychee. Well, Humphrey, lead on.
Will do. And following the drawing, Humphrey will try to look to the right and see any glimpse of a third path in the road.
Roll me a survival check.
Will do. So, out of curiosity, since last session we did not get any kind of rest, not long nor
You
short.
have not rested yet. No.
Okay. No, perfect. Just so I have no key points available. That is a concern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh, 18.
18. So, it's certainly not a beaten path, right? But as you look to the right, and you look, and I will point on the map, you see where the trees sort of naturally break, and it's not nearly as geometric as perhaps the lines in the dirt or the lines on the page, but you see a clear shot. And as you continue to look, the trees do seem to bend in the direction and leave openings in the direction of that little, shall we say, pathway, and that, or so you believe. And you also note that the roots, that difficult terrain, seems to be parted as well as you look deeper into the mist and deeper into the forests.
This seems to be the road. At least it is the best open path I can find.
Interesting. Wonder where it leads.
I wonder the same. I guess only one way to know.
Indeed. Lead on.
And Humphrey waddles ahead.
I have a question for both of you.
Yes,
You might
Do
have
you
an
have
answer.
do you have dark vision?
I do.
Do I have failing human eyes?
I believe not.
Or Tom Clancy's dark vision? I do. 60 feet.
Then I am going to move the map and I'm going to reveal a few things.
Ooh. It's a flashlight in Russell's face.
Let me just, okay. So, roll 20. Please cooperate with me. Okay, there we go. And then follow the path. Find yourself in front of water, and I will have to ask for a bit of forgiveness here and a bit of imagination,
Oh no.
because what you see here on the map visually in front of you is water as it should be. But as you get closer along the winding vines and trees, you actually see water that it seems, and you doubt yourself for a second. You doubt your senses. But that water has a almost red hue to it. And interestingly enough, there is no paved road, but you do find this bridge. This rickety, small yet effective bridge.
Razvan will walk to the water.
Humphrey will follow.
Okay, good. I was like, do you have? You should have. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Razvan
So-
picking up a stone.
Yeah.
Will kind of push it between his fingers and then toss it into the river like he's skipping a stone.
You do so. And for my sake, to make it a little interesting, go ahead and roll me a dexterity check.
Dexterity check. 23.
Nice.
Here's what's interesting. You skip it once, twice, thrice, 4 times, and when it goes to hit the water a 5th time, a bubble, like from the water surface, bursts, and it's not big. It's not small. It's rather large. A pretty hefty size, like almost the size of an orange. Bursts, and it knocks your pebble out into the water. And you notice as it sprays and the water splashes against stone that it looks like blood. The water looks like blood.
That's an unsettling view.
You know, I'm not certain that it is.
Humphrey looks at Razvan.
Hey, Razvan will just smile back. Think about it. Everything we have seen. I would rather find a bubbling, playful little creek, even if it does look like it is the Sanguine River of the Damned, than another broken city of corpses.
Humphrey raises raises one of hand, like produces a finger from the knob and just brings it back.
And let me put it to you this way. If everything we find is strange, everything we have found is odd, nothing is settling, everything is unnerving. At the very least, something that is not trying to harm us or harm others is a welcome sight.
I guess I'll have to agree with you there.
All right, shall we draw short straws to see who will attempt the bridge first, or age before beauty? How old are you?
I am just 19.
Shit.
So you have both.
Well, one as I am to argue such a point, very well.
Humphrey stays at the edge of the bridge, ready
Sturdy
to
enough.
just jump into action.
Sure, sturdy enough. Although, one thing that you both notice, just simply on passive perception, is as you walk away from that tree, it almost starts to lean towards you.
Ew.
But as you approach the bridge,
We noticed that though, right?
yeah, you notice it. Even passive perception.
Razvan will give a little high five to a bare branch and then walk over the bridge.
As you approach the bridge seems sturdy enough. It creaks under your feet. And for a moment, as it moans, you aren't sure if that's the bridge itself or if there's something below the water.
Yeah. I've certainly been on worse bridges. have any difficulty remembering them, but that's probably good.
Continue to walk. Humphrey, remind me, you have the highest of passive perceptions.
Yes,
What is the number exactly again?
23.
23.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. You notice the fungi and the branches, and you notice the vine right there, all sort of leaning towards Razvan in this moment, as if at any point something could just reach out and grab him.
Mr. Rasvan, keep an eye on your surroundings, and Humphrey will unsheath the rapier. And if I can hold action just to attack the branch if it moves, but I cannot cover the rest.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, I'm certain it is nothing too unbearable. Besides, what would we do? Go back and report that we found something strange? Everything is strange.
You're not wrong, but I also want you alive, Mr. Rasvan.
Maybe I'll just take a few more steps.
Yep. There's something as well. There's something about the way that this river seems to Razvan, it smells, it reeks of blood. And for a moment, you look over the edge and you swear you see a face.
Huh.
A woman's face. Staring up at you with dead eyes. Before seeming to just vanish along the waves.
Interesting.
You make it across, and it feels like nothing has happened. But what I failed to mention to you, Razvan, because you failed to notice it, that Humphrey, you noticed it, is as his feet walked across the other side of the bridge almost began to bend as if shunting him off.
Oh,
Like it was ready and waiting for him. And it just kind of almost felt like you saw him almost slide off, or at least by all accounts you should have. But again, Razvan, you notice nothing. It seems just like an ordinary bridge.
Behold, Humphrey! The path least traveled. I think.
then I shall follow. Humphrey looks wearily at the branches and the shrooms and starts walking the bridge.
Yeah. And they seem to lean towards you as well. And both of you begin to notice the light fog dancing over the water. You stop there? That was a question. Do you stop there?
Yeah. Humphrey gets a shiver down his non-existent spine when he sees the fog like starting to gather. Looks around. Everything is still like in place. Nothing has tried to reach.
There's a woman in the water.
Oh,
You recognize that face. You saw that face last night. You swear it. And then it just vanishes, as if the water rolls over it, staring almost dead up at you, lifeless eyes. But you recognize that face. You saw that face the night before. That was the face that you saw in the forest when you went to check on that sound. You remember this. That's the same face.
Humphrey will take another step, but now focusing on this person in the water. What's their
water.
expression?
It looks dead, lifeless. Like, you know, this is so uncanny, but like, you know, when an avatar in any type of game that allows you to customize just kind of looks dead set like ahead,
Yeah.
looks lifeless, looks stagnant, looks almost like the person was placed there, like floating, except instead of this person bobbing with the waves as the current carries it along, the waves go over this face, this body, until eventually completely just sweeps over top of it.
Humphrey will break eye contact. Funny because no eyes, but whatever. And actually lower his hat and try to make the rest of the like the way of the bridge not looking at the water.
And you notice it certainly looks like it's bending. And I would like both of you, yes, including Razvan, in this moment to really quickly roll me your choice of an Arcana check or a Nature check.
Oh. They are both the same.
I'll take Arcana. 20.
Yeah, I'll take nature. Hiya. 9.
There's something about it as you hear the bridge groaning behind you, Razvan. If you decide to peep back over to see if that face is still there. For a moment you swear it is, and then it's gone again, and you look to where the mists have just stayed. Not moving. And it hits you. Razvan, what you're seeing. Oh, it's been a minute. This is an illusion. This whole thing. This is magic. As you blink your eyes a couple times, the fog stays, but the bridge, it just stops. Stops moving, stops groaning. The water remains bloody, but there is no body in the water.
Interesting. Somewhat curious, my voluptuous friend. I do not know if it is an active part of this area or if someone's attempting to vex us, but there are illusion magics within the air.
Humphrey
very-
looks at Razvan. Sorry,
The
go
very
ahead.
bridge that you stand on, enchanted with such a magic.
Yeah, Humphrey looks at Razvan and then looks around. An illusion?
Indeed.
Why for?
I don't know. Hard to say. Maybe to make the place look less inviting. But what I can tell you is the river is certainly real, as is the bridge, just perhaps not the strange effects around it. Perhaps to keep
Humphrey
someone
looks-
away from this path.
Humphrey looks again over the handrail. What about that woman? Do you see it, right?
I did.
It's not the first time I see her. My previous watch last night, I walked around, there was a noise around the camp, and I saw that face in the mist. That same face.
Interesting. We should head back towards camp. No point in investigating further and getting lost, at least more than we already are.
I agree. At least you say this bridge is less alive than what I seem to experience, right?
Correct.
That is reassuring. And Humphrey starts walking his way back. And
You both do, and for the sake of ease, I'm just gonna switch the maps
Yeah.
back over.
Sure thing.
and you reconvene. And in the meantime, Lena, Festial, what have you been doing while this entire situation has occurred?
I know there's one thing that Lena did want to do. And at some point after Roswan and Humphrey kind of disembark, Lena kind of like turns around toward Ophestial and asks, so, mind if I ask you something? And she has like a smile on her face.
Of course.
How did you do that?
Do what?
She will like take her hands and like just make elk like hand shapes above her head.
Hand antlers.
Yeah, hand antlers.
Oh, the beast. Yeah, it's a weird thing that my teacher taught me to do a long time ago. I'm not very good at it, and it's very exhausting, but it's part of my training. We druids take beast forms, to varying extent. Like I said, it's very, very exhausting. God, that's the first time I transformed in years. To be perfectly honest. Sorry for the scare, by the way. It was a little sudden.
I did get a little worried there for a moment, but I figured since I wasn't immediately gorged, something was a little amiss.
Yeah, if it does happen again, I'll try to warn you next time.
Well, now that I know that you're capable of such, that's plenty of warning. Because I definitely heard some very distressing strain sounds when that was occurring in muscles, bone, and the like. But now that I know that's coming from you, and you're at least for the most part hale and whole, it won't be so much of a worry any next time it happens. I promise.
Mhm. Well, that's good to know. Again, I'm so sorry. But also thank you for your help in that fight. You were quite dexterous for someone who can't see. I'm impressed.
Oh, well, thank you. I've had to adapt my senses to counteract not having sight. I feel like the runes on me and my bandages have somehow heightened them as well, beyond your typical understanding. Well, at least I think so. I can't I couldn't explain even if I tried how I'm able to snap arrows out of the air.
Killer's instinct, I suppose.
To a degree, I do know that there was nature aspects to the ritual that was attempted on me. Maybe a natural predator instinct might have been something that got added in there, at least somewhere.
Perhaps. Have you always been a fighter, or is this related to this ritual thing?
I've always been a little bit of a sellsword on the side. I was primarily a lumberjack back at home, but I was part of the like what you could call a militia of sorts from time to time. I helped do some bodyguard work. I did what I could to get by, but fighting's been my main way of like dealing in combat with like weapons and such.
Interesting. It's curious how some of our life paths start to change over time.
Oh, ain't that the truth? She says, like leaning back a little bit on the caravan.
Not to eavesdrop, but cheers to that.
Aye, sir.
Listening were you? She says, smiling. Obviously, not even trying to be quiet with the conversation.
Oh, I don't know. Just making sure that I keep all ears about me. It's just a habit I picked up. Hope you don't
Mhm.
mind.
No, not
You're
at all.
quite all right.
Speaking of, I
yeah.
hate to intrude on both of your conversation. It sounds like our company is on its
Oh, oh, fantastic.
Mean to interrupt your conversation. You're welcome to keep talking. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that our duo seems to be coming back. At least I hear 2 sets of footsteps anyway. Should be about give or take 5 minutes.
Well, at least we know they didn't, well, something bad didn't happen. Supposedly. I don't know, the more time we spend in this weird place, like, I'm getting used to it, but it is odd. I feel like every step needs to be calculated.
Well, considering I don't think we are where we're supposed to be, I agree to that one.
With Lychee saying that Ophestial's eyes get really wide for a second. He's not very comfortable with the man guiding them being a little on edge, too.
Please. I'll stop interrupting. Please continue your conversation.
So, you said you the shape shifting that you're doing was part of your training. Uh, that seems uncanny to me. I wouldn't think that'd be possible with people.
Hello? Can you hear? Okay. Sorry, my
Yes.
mic's being weird. You know, I didn't think it was either. But I met my teacher by happenstance. I was, in a very, very dark place, but, she was one of the few other people that showed me kindness, and she was a master of her craft, and she was very old when I met her, so she kind of just wet me up and said, "Listen, kid, you're going to be you're going to carry on my legacy." I was just kind of enamored by her. So I took in everything she could possibly teach me. But, you know, I didn't have anyone else, so why not? You know?
Mastery of body, if there ever was one, for certain.
Not just body, but she had a way about her that just exuded life. And she was a grouch, don't get me wrong, but she loved every living thing with her entire being. And I can't help but admire that. So I promised her I'd do my best. It just sucks I've been on my own for so long, and you know, I was only with her for a couple years. She couldn't teach me all that much, but I've been doing my best to try.
Much shorter than Lychee's prediction. It is at this point where both Humphrey and Razvan rejoin the caravan and can hear Ephestiel and Lena's conversation.
Oh, looks like they made it back.
And I'm speaking to Humphrey. And then, believe it or not, I kissed her goodnight, only to realize on the other side of the bed was her wife. Ah, how was I to know?
Mr. Revlon, you have quite some stories.
Well, such is the life.
Welcome back.
Ah, good to be back. Good to see the caravan is in one place.
Yep, all good on this end. What did you find?
A strange bridge covered in illusion magics. A babbling brook made of blood and strange face. Mists that stand still. But no path. At least, not in the traditional sense.
Wait, did you say a river of blood?
More like a brook. I wouldn't say it was a river. It wasn't moving very fast.
He immediately does the thing where he clasps his hands together and puts them by his mouth.
Everything
Problem?
right?
I don't like the implication that we are not on track. Something happened. Something happened in the mists when we were not still. We were not still. I mean, I have no other unless it wasn't the mists, I have no other explanation for it. We're about 2 days forward. 3 days maybe.
Is there any chance that instead of moving us, the mists moved the things around us? We were surrounded by a good chunk of it.
It's possible. I don't know. I have no other explanation other than the miss period, but I whatever that entails is beyond me. But I couldn't. There's no way. None of you know how to do like teleportation magic, right?
Humphrey looks at Rasmus.
Lana shakes her head.
Yeah.
Rosalind looks down towards Humphrey.
Rose.
Pain snoring in the background.
I was gonna say, give me your best honk shoe. There's
What do you
no.
make of?
I've. Sorry.
What do you make of? Yeah, and what do you make of the fork ahead? We examined the,
Yeah.
I guess, hidden path, but what would you make of that fork ahead? Like,
I
does
mean,
it
unless
sound
that's also an illusion. Like I said, we're about 2 or 3 days off travel, but like off in the sense that we're early, or like we're way farther ahead than where we should be, which poses even more questions about. And he looks back, like in the direction you came from, about the mercenaries, in the direction of the mercenaries.
Yeah. I suppose arriving early isn't the worst thing. Of course, I would prefer to be fashionably late, but there are worse fates, I would imagine, when guiding a caravan than arriving early. Though I sense that your concerns are not so easily dissuaded.
It's not about the fact that we're early themselves. It's the fact that he sits there and he pauses. I mean, that is concerning in its own right. Because, again, if it's the miss, I couldn't say. But my concern is if we are not where we're supposed to be, then how could they have anticipated where we were going to be?
They? Oh, you mean the mercenaries?
Yeah.
I do not know. But less than credence to the idea that someone might have, maybe not control, but at the very least some sort of influence over the mists. Regardless, I'd like to think that the mists have as something of an old friend at this point. He kind of high fives the air where the mist might be.
A hand appears out of the air and high fives you back.
Whoa! See?
There isn't. Well, stacking up concerns is not the idea here, but there is one more thing. Back the other day, when we felt like our rest was somehow disturbed, I did check around the camp, following what Mr. Branson seemed to have listened south. I could not find anything concrete, but I did see a face on the mist, and whatever illusion was further ahead on the road we just examined with Mr. Rasvan was that same face. So there is a consistency there that annoys me.
Man.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of faces in the mist, have you not? Or just last night?
Last night is the one that sticks to mind.
Well, regardless, there is not much we can do about it, save for maybe draw all the faces. No, actually, it's a good idea. I think I'll draw the face, just in case. Maybe it'll talk to me in my book.
I envy your good mood about this sort of thing, Mr. Rasban. I certainly do.
Ah, I grew up on the sea, Mr. Humphrey. You cannot necessarily change the pattern of the waves, but you can ride with them. If everything is concerning, if everything is strange, nothing is concerning. Nothing is strange. Whatever this is business as usual here, and I mean to make with waves.
Sound reasoning, I guess.
The
The worst
alternative
now
is to
is
the alternative is to do one of two other things: worry until your head falls out, or gel falls out, or do as the very wise Mr. Branson does: sleep.
You know what? I do think sleeping is probably the best option here, actually, because unless the math starts mathing, I got no clue.
Mm.
Listen, I've
Then
known these woods to be their own beast, but even this is beyond me. I'm gonna be completely transparent with you all.
it sounds like we're taking a rest here and exploring on the morrow.
That would probably be wise in case there are more mercenaries ahead.
Hopefully not. I would like to enjoy one night of rest.
Well, I suppose we should just. And he starts directing the ox off the road a bit. Just one of those cases where it's the nearest open area, the nearest open patch of grass that doesn't have too much mud or too many roots, and he parks it there. Should I expect us to have an early rise tomorrow since we're taking an early sleep?
That
Sounds
sounds
like a
reasonable.
plan.
Very well. I shall refrain from howling at the moon.
He kind of looks at you.
It is very considerate of him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the woods need your help with that.
Hey, fair enough.
And he goes and he, without another word, kind of salutes to all of you and makes himself cozy inside of his caravan wagon.
Miss Lena, Mr. Rasvan, given that our usual first watch is down for the count, any of you willing to take that spot?
Yeah,
I
I
certainly
am.
can.
Oh, fair enough. I'll take a watch after you, Lena.
Sounds fine to me.
Razvan will spider climb up the tree and hang on one leg upside down on a branch.
Acrobatics check.
Spider climb. Help me. 21.
21.
Yo, 20 win.
That man is a spider. Spot the difference.
If he looks at that, you know we can rest in the floor, right, Mr. Rasman?
Hey, wherever he's comfortable.
I'll rest on the floor when I'm dead.
Again, solid reasoning. Nothing against it. All right, Idle. Humphrey looks at the bucket. Go to my spot then. And you see him just just nail his way into the bucket.
It's the good old bucket.
Are you alright going first, Lena?
Yes, I'll be certainly fine. I only got a little scratched up during the fight. I can still stand and I can still stand with the best of them.
Alright, well, good night for now. Come get me when you're done.
Certainly.
And he will, take up his mantle underneath the caravan.
How exactly, Lena, do you handle your first watch?
She's going to be positioned closer to the front of the cart, kind of near Mr. Ox, especially after like everything happened, and then the bindings holding them on are kind of rickety. So wants to be really close by in case something happens, and we'll actually have Vern like sitting on like the back of the caravan, watching behind.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Alrighty. 10.
Well, one thing's for certain. The mists are moving. Again. You feel like this should be par for the course at this point, but there's just something about it that makes you so terribly unsettled.
The mists are noted. She'll try to be a little more wary. She'll try and shrug off the uneasy feeling, and just kind of like steel herself for her watch.
Another hour passes. Another hour passes. The mists just continue to grow. They continue to roll. And into the next hour, I would like you to roll me another perception check.
Righty. Ooh.
Natural
Horrors
20.
up and peeped.
It's funny. For anyone else, I would answer you see nothing. But sight isn't your forte, is it?
It's definitely probably sound, maybe even
Yeah.
smell a little bit.
Maybe even smell a little bit. You smell the moisture and the humidity of the mists, but you also hear the sound of faintly clinking metal. And it's growing closer.
Being that that Lena is well versed in like various types of like combat equipment and things like that, or like weapons being at like their side, would they be able to discern this maybe as like chainmail or scale or like throwing weapons hanging off the side or something like keys?
You're so close. I'm going to go ahead and give you advantage. This is going to be an intelligence check straight,
Okay.
but with advantage.
12.
You're very close. The DC for this was not super high. You're very, very close. You think for a moment as your mind wanders away from weaponry and from armor. Chain. Chain. Chain links, perhaps.
Hmm. She will keep trained in the direction of that sound. But she will signal toward Vern to go try and do like almost like an overhead sweep to see if anything can stick out.
Roll me a Vern perception check.
Okay. Let me pull his sheet up. Perception. Oh, 15.
His owl eyes do not see anything. However, the chain links grow louder, and the mist grows very thick into the woods around you, but not fully onto the path. In that sort of sense of like, they're rolling in, they're getting closer, and they're encroaching, but they haven't quite fully intercepted yet.
Right. She's used to the mist's ebb and flow coming in and out and everything. She's still trying to hesitate waking people up, because wake up and saying, "Hey, the mists are here again," doesn't really change anything. But she's keeping a real like sharp bead on where that chain is.
It's to the south of you. And it's coming closer.
She is actually going to change her location, being like at the back of the caravan, if that's where it's coming from.
Mhm.
It's going to move up to probably like right about here.
Okay.
Vern will probably be somewhere up on top of the caravan again. Could it be? She will otherwise hold her position for the moment.
For sure. Roll me in your last hour one final perception check.
18.
Still growing closer, but nothing has changed. The mists continue to roll in, this time now passing over the road. You still hear that sound, growing ever closer. But nothing encroaches, nothing breaches the sanctuary, if you want to call it that, of the caravan. And by the time the third hour the third hour is finished. Then the fourth hour is finished.
All right.
It's quiet, but you still hear it.
Right. At the finishing of her watch, she will go get Ophestial and just she thinks for a moment how to like quietly wake him up. Like she would probably use you'll probably feel like a tapping on your shoulder, like Ophestial, like her hand kind of like grabbing your shoulder and like gently like shaking you a little bit. And then you'll probably realize that suddenly there's like several arm joints extra on that arm, and she just like reached under the side like that.
He like rolls over, yawns, still kind of in a sleepy daze, and sees her weird arm, and then sees the extension of the arm, and like jumps at it, but remembers
Yeah, it was like a
that
very gentle shake, like it wasn't like a tight grip
it
or anything.
like the sight of the arm jointed together, like that was startling. He forgot for a second that it was Lena instead of Branson. But he comes out I was shaking his
Sorry.
head a little bit. No, you're fine, you're fine. I just forgot it was you waking me up.
The arm kind of like slowly like retracts into itself.
Anything of note?
As you've seen, the fog, the mist kind of rolled in. The only thing I've heard of real note is there's some kind of like loud chain dragging or chain like sounds to the south. It sounds like it's getting closer, but it didn't immediately like be set on us, so I didn't wake anybody up yet. I'll have Vern will help keep company just in case, but so far there's been nothing else.
Appreciate it. Go rest up. I'll keep an eye. Thank you.
Absolutely. And she'll go and bed down.
Hephaestiel, as you wake up, as I mentioned before, you immediately notice that the mists are very thick right now, but there's something that catches your attention immediately, and that is, once again, this is the second night in a row where, yeah, you went to sleep. You don't remember having any dreams. You feel rested, but you also don't remember being asleep, really. Again, it's that feeling of you conked out and then immediately woke back up, and yet somehow you're rested and time has passed. It's odd.
Well, not really being able to do anything about that one. He's going to climb up on top of the back cart here. And watch, particularly keeping an eye south, like Lena said, but just for a better vantage point.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me a perception check with advantage.
Okay. 11.
Man, those mists are thick. They certainly were not that thick when the day started out. And you don't like the fact that it's only been 4 hours and they're all of a sudden this thick yet again. Unsettling, really.
Does he hear anything like Lena was describing?
You do. The clinking of metal. That's faint. Kind of does sound like something is dragging something behind it. Clink. 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 You weren't sure, obviously, how loud it was originally, but seems decently nearby, maybe? Not necessarily enough for you to warrant waking everybody else up, but you certainly do hear it.
For now, he'll keep his eyes locked south, just in case.
Go ahead and roll me another perception check.
Be a 20.
At some point, you swear you see a face in the mist. It's feminine, ethereal, and after a moment it fades. But you've gotten really accustomed to this, right? So it shouldn't be that weird. Maybe it is weird. On second thought, you're not sure.
Is that face familiar at all?
Roll me an intelligence check.
10.
You don't recognize it. And it's certainly not any of the faces that you saw before. That much you can confirm.
Well, with nothing of note, he'll just keep ignoring them like he has been.
Last perception check of the night.
17.
17. It's actually a 21 because these have should have all been with advantage.
Oh.
Yeah, you're good. There's a natural 20 with a 21. You see a figure in the mists. But this time it's not like the faces. You pretty sure that's an actual person. And you can hear it definitely louder. That chain clinking.
How far away is it?
At least 120 feet. Probably. It's hard to say exactly. The fog is really thick, but it's certainly not within 60 feet.
Before he does anything rash, he'll quietly call out, "Hello?
You
Someone
hear
there?"
You hear your own voice echoed back. Hello? Is someone there? You don't hear a response other than that.
He's getting flashbacks to his dreams, but tries to shake it off. Knowing he's gonna have to wake up Humphrey anyway, he goes to get his attention, careful not to stray his eyes too far away from this figure in case it vanishes.
Fair enough. You're able to do so. And eventually, it is time to wake up Humphrey.
Humphrey.
Listen, I'm having
Hurry.
trouble tonight. I'm having trouble tonight talking. Leave me alone.
No, that was a
that was a
Freudian slip.
Yeah.
No. He's honk shoeing, so he's honk free.
Honk free.
Honk free?
Imagining Humphrey with the Chad meme
Yonk, yonk,
facial
free.
structure.
Hold on.
It's like handsome Squidward.
Yeah.
Giving chat the vapors with the honk free.
Yonk free.
Yeah, so, again, like, I want to keep an eye on this thing in the mist so it doesn't vanish, so that I can point
you're
it
able
out.
to do so.
But
You're able to do so, and he's
reach around to try to bap the bucket.
It's everything all right?
Humphrey, please tell me you see this man or figure in the mist south of here.
Do I see it?
perception check.
Ooh. Hiya. Wait, there we go. Hiya. That's a 16.
Yeah, you see a figure.
And it's not the same woman I saw before?
No, it's larger. It's
That's a new
more
one.
like a silhouette than.
Yeah, can we make out a face at all?
Nope, but you can make out a silhouette. It's
How
larger,
long?
bulkier.
How long has that been there?
Just appeared in like the past hour. Thought maybe I was going crazy. I tried talking to it and it talked back in my voice. I've been having dreams like that. I'm just glad I'm not the only one who can see it, but I'm not really sure what to do about it.
But you seen it has not been hostile so far.
Just staring.
Getting closer, really. It's
But yes, it
certainly
has been
closer than it
approaching
was
us.
before. Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
Be on your guard, Mr. Ophelstiel, and be ready to wake up the rest. And Humphrey will walk towards this thing.
It is a good more than 60 feet away.
Mm-hmm. Did you get a full long rest?
You did. A Festial has only had 4 hours
4
of the
hours.
8.
Yeah. Just rehabbing my key points.
Yep. You are good.
Not unsheathing his weapons, but certainly walking carefully towards the figure in the mist. I'm trying to get a better view of what am I standing in front of.
Before I answer, Festial, are you resuming your rest?
No, he's hanging back, but watching Humphrey.
Humphrey, you continue moving forward, and eventually you start to see a figure. It's probably, your guess would be about like 6'5", bulky. You notice something off about the silhouette, though. You expect to see, it's humanoid shaped, but you expect to see arms, and you don't. But you definitely hear that clinking noise. In fact, you hear the sound of metal almost being dragged across the ground. And the occasional shifting as if someone is taking footsteps, lumbered footsteps.
I move closer.
Eventually, are you willing to lose sight of the caravan?
Right now, yes.
Okay. Behind you, the mists completely just engulf you and the caravan behind you, and eventually you grow closer and you start to notice that that is definitely a human man, and the reason you don't see any arms is because they're currently bound in chain.
Do they seem to notice me?
Roll me an insight check with disadvantage.
Will do. That's a 12.
It's hard to say. It's entirely possible given how obscured you are in these mists. But you also don't really get enough of a look to be able to see what this guy looks like. Facial features and whatnot. It's hard to read a face that you can't see. But you feel certain that he probably has one.
Humphrey raises his hat. Not good, sir.
So it is you.
Slowly
You don't
puts the
recognize
hat
that
back.
voice. Sorry?
Slowly puts the hat back.
You don't recognize that voice.
What do you mean it is you?
You don't remember? Eventually he comes into full view, and this is the fighter that you just put bound in chain and left on the side of the road.
Well, we meet again. Glad to see that you are unarmed and unharmed.
He kind of gives you a flat look at that. Wounds from combat littered all over his body.
We did heal you before leaving you behind. As best as we could, you have to reconsider that we needed to spend a fair amount of resources keeping ourselves alive.
Understood. And I don't blame you for putting up a fight. It's not like I can attack you right now. And he just kind of looks at the chains around his arms. And without sight of, well, and with everybody else dead, these mists, it's a wonder I'm even still around you. right now and not dead?
I'm not one to hurt someone who's defenseless, so if you can assure you will not become belligerent, you can follow me back to the camp.
Whichever one of your friends tied me up with this did a damn good job. I don't think I'm going to be able to get out of these without some help.
You'll have to wait till the morning. They're currently resting.
Fair
And
enough.
I would not recommend interrupting that. You see, they don't have a very good humor when you shorten their rest.
Oh, fair enough. Would it trouble you for some shelter, at least for the remainder of the night? I realize that is a very shitty ask of me, considering I just went after your life, but considering we're at an impasse here.
I do not consider it an impasse. If anything else, I think we have stuff to talk about. You do have information that might be of help to us.
For a price. But then again, stares at his chains. Perhaps the price is simply freedom.
I would agree that.
Then I'm at your disposal.
Humphrey nods and starts walking back to the camp. Follow
He
me.
follows. Roll me a survival check.
Will do. Yeah. 15.
It reaches a point where both of you stop and he looks at you and goes, "Hey, I don't know your name, I'm sorry. I don't
Then it's
see any...
Humphrey.
Nice to meet you. I don't see any wheel tracks."
Humphrey looks around.
You also don't see any wheel tracks. In fact, the road in front of you looks clean, but the road behind you is your own footsteps. Roll me a percentile die.
Ooh, will do. That's a 24.
You think for a minute. There's something afoot here. And it dawns on you. Call it a voice in your head that tells you to turn around and walk the other way.
Humphrey stops and considers that for a minute. I think we're going the wrong way. It's probably here, and starts following that direction.
Well, lead on. And weirdly enough, within minutes, seconds even, you see an ox.
Is it
As
Mr.
you-
Ox?
Re-enter, yep, as you re-enter from the north.
Huh. You would assume I'm used to this by now, but... eh. Here, we're making the right way.
And surely enough, it's the beginning of your watch, and you now have a gentleman on your person? Question mark. A Festival, you hear the sound of chains very loud at this point, and you notice that it's coming from the north instead of the south.
Yeah. He watching very like a little terrified, but hearing the noise, he'll whip around and a wave of relief hits as he sees Humphrey come back.
With a
Humphrey waves.
6'5" tall fighter that you definitely just fought.
Humphrey, is that?
Yes, we seem to have found ourselves in each other's company again. That being said, our friend here is very thoroughly bound, so unless they want to start a fight against a full camp, when unable to use their hands and completely unarmed, I don't think they're much of a risk right now.
It just kind of gives you that that you know that you know that smile that's like when you've got your lips closed and it's more like a flat line than it really is a smile. That's the expression this guy is making at you, Ephestial.
The awkward white person grin.
Correct.
That's a description.
Ophestial approaches them, also feeling extremely awkward, because he did kick the ever-loving shit out of this guy. He reaches into his pocket and holds out a ration and offers it to him. Sorry for earlier, but I suppose if you're staying with us, you might want to recover some strength. So here.
You all are way too kind.
Surprisingly, how our encounters go if you don't attack us, right? You should try that next time.
He doesn't say.
Well, expect a lot of questions in the morning.
But for now, you should go rest, Mr. Festial. I'll take it from here.
Right. Now that I know you're safe, good night.
I do, and I have company.
Yeah, try not to talk his ear off too much.
Oh, I would never.
Well, good night.
Good night,
And,
Mr. Festial.
He'll roll back underneath the caravan.
So, do you want to talk at night, or do you want to rest as well? You have walked a fair amount.
I understand it might be in my best interest to take a rest. However, I think it would be better, at least until the situation shifts, for me to stay awake.
I respect that. Fine. I will continue with my watch, though. I may have found you, but
Yeah,
that's
you are welcome.
not the only thing we might want. We might
Believe
encounter.
me, I understand that. These woods are just as unpredictable as the mists within them. Keep your eyes about.
On that note, we did found weird directions dug into the ground as to a path away from the road we were traveling. Was that you, your group?
Yeah, and you weren't supposed to see that.
What's that path in the bloody river?
He kind of stops for a minute and looks at you and goes, "Bloody river."
He points to the area with the hidden path.
Well, yeah, I
We
know
did
about
fo-
the path, but what?
We followed it to scout ahead before we took a rest, and we came across a river. It seemed made out of blood. Like the smell was just unbearable. Apparently, it was also covered by an illusion that did get me. I do not know how it looks without it, but there is something strange in that direction. Did you come that way?
I didn't. But
Hmm.
Titania did. It's Titania the Bard. The one that you gave a good scare. Good beating. Well done, by the way.
Sorry, I couldn't think. Never mind.
Yeah, I get it.
Mm. So they were not part of your group?
No, she is. It's complicated. These people have a tendency of keeping their secrets. I don't necessarily know exactly what she saw that way, or last I checked, there wasn't a stream or a creek, much less full of blood. That's that kind of water. That kind of water you don't see around these parts.
For what we're gathering, this time around, the mist seems to be shifting around entire places. We are not where we were supposed to be. We jumped ahead in the road. This fog was supposed to be days ahead.
Well, if it transported you, it must have transported us too, because we've been following you from the south.
Since Melancholy?
That's where we were hired.
Mind if I ask you about that?
I'm at your mercy.
It's still polite to ask.
What am I gonna do?
Manners are important.
I understand. I appreciate it. But also, I'm at your mercy right now. If you wanted to, you could slit my throat and call it done.
I would rather not, but so uncivilized. What I want to know is, we found a letter on one of you from the Blood Moon Guild. Was this some sort of open contract? The kind of letter that might be just spread around, or were you contacted specifically for this?
And we were specifically contacted to either bring you back alive or take you out dead and bring your bodies. As you can see, we weren't exactly successful in that.
You're alive. I would count that as a win.
Oh, I would. Um, I don't. I don't know what to make of the others. I saw what you did to I saw what you did to Scott.
We were put against in a hard situation. Sadly, decisions have to be made on the spin of a blade.
The kicker is that it looks like you didn't even kill him.
Pardon?
It didn't look like you killed him when I saw his body.
Huh.
Above board, he's probably, you get the sense that he is, even without an insight check, he's probably referring to the fact that it wasn't exactly like lightning that knocked him out initially. He fell out of a tree
Yes.
With many
Yeah.
axes in him.
with many axes in him. And you get the sense that this guy might have done like a medicine check. A robot voice. Medicine check.
Medicine check.
Yeah, thank you. You don't even need an insight check to put those dots together. You were there.
Think what you might of us, but again, our only priority there was defending ourselves. Harming you is just a collateral.
Yeah, it's part of the game. I understand.
But, so your client was the Blood Moon Guild. You were contacted directly to get us.
Yep, and we were not given any information as to what we were up against. If we would have been told proper information, we would have declined, or at least I would have.
Still not fun to have a price on our heads. if you've done dealings with them, would you assume they will pass this same offer to someone else now that your group did not succeed?
Oh, 100%.
Good to know. We'll have an eye open.
I would keep at least 3.
We have a few.
Yeah.
Make for
So
the
I
lack of
noticed.
mine, and Humphrey like jiggles his head.
Yeah, well. That's why I said at least 3. Would be difficult to have 4 when you don't have any. Ah. That is weird, by the way. Has anyone ever told you that it's weird that you're just... I'm sorry. Is this rude of me? I don't know if you care. Are you a person? Like, what? Are you, like, talking about illusion magic? Like...
To be quite honest, I have no idea what I am right now, but believe you me, I am a person. Just on a weird situation.
different shaped.
Not by my volition.
Fair enough. Understood. Have a nice day. I've never seen anything like you before. Let me tell you what. Listen, I've known that the mists do strange things, and I've heard that the woods around these parts do weird things, and certainly heard a fair number of stories, but an orange blob? Is that offensive? I realize that we are not exactly on good terms, but like, is that offensive to call you a blob?
To be quite honest, I don't even know if there is a term from where I am, so couldn't even tell you if that's offensive or not.
Fair enough.
You just call me a blob with a hard B? What the fuck?
Right. Well, any other questions, I guess?
I feel that that's the most important one. I will share that I am not all too familiar with these lands, so kind of at a loss of what else to ask. Just knowing that whoever asks for our heads will try that again is good confirmation to have.
Well, if you're not familiar with these parts and you don't know the lay of the land, I'll tell you a little secret. It's not really a secret. I'm sure you've already gathered the fact that a lot of the different cities have their own sort of cultures about them, their own sort of governing bodies. Unfortunately, you managed to come across a governing body that likes to work in secret. And it doesn't own any one place in a official sense. But you came across a guild that has a lot of power in a lot of places, and it's often behind closed doors. They have plenty of allies in plenty of places, and they work in ways that I don't even know how to calculate, but then again, I'm not exactly the brains of my group. Well, not to say that I'm stupid, but I don't exactly do those dealings. What I can tell you this is, if you're heading to Skald, like I'm pretty sure you are, you better keep your eyes peeled. You better keep your ears peeled. You made enemies. I don't even know how, but you seem to have made enemies with an incredibly powerful group of people. And I hate to be the person on the receiving end of that kind of animosity.
Can't say we've gone out of our way to offend anyone, but it's good to know what the feelings are about our presence here.
It's one of those things where I think a word of the wise that you might want to share with your friends is that everybody's watching. And it's not in that weird stalking in the night, mercenary on your tail sort of sense. It's the fact that people are just observant. Information is power, gossip is information, rumors are a currency. People will do anything in some places to get a quick coin, especially when it's hard to come by.
Things not going well in Skald.
It's not just Skald. When they're how do you put this? When people are in control of the resources, other people have to try to get a hold of those resources. And as far as Skald is concerned, as far as melancholy is concerned, as far as he pauses, I'm pretty sure those are the only two places I've been to. Yeah,
world.
that's about it. Unless I'm mistaken, yeah. Those are the only places that I've actually been to. If you're anywhere within those places, people are, like I said, willing to do anything to put food on the table.
Can't say I'm unfamiliar with the situation.
Just I guess, a bit of information as payment for getting these chains off. I mean, like I just said, anyone's willing to do anything to stay alive and keep food on the table. It is at this point, I would love for the other 4 sleeping people to roll me initiative as to who wakes up first.
Oh.
Like, wait, what?
Come back. Come back to sleep.
Fucking Freddy Krueger, come on.
Razvan, you're up first. Awake. With no recollection of any dreams whatsoever. In fact, it's almost like you never went to sleep. It's odd. You definitely went to sleep, but it feels like no time has passed.
Well, what did I miss? Oh, I visit out.
You would recognize
don't-
this as the guy that you went hand-to-hand combat with in the last session, actually. you actually cast a few spells on this guy, and you definitely threw your sword at this guy.
A recent
Hey.
acquaintance, you may say.
Looking at the chains. Humphrey, I know a gentleman doesn't normally kiss and tell, but what is going on here?
Humphrey looks at the chains, gets flustered for a moment. They found us through the mists, Mr. Rasvan. And I just, since they are harmless, I offered some respite here. Felt like the right thing to do.
Fair enough. You always are one to do the right thing that you feel. Well,
But-
I suppose I do wake Mr. Branson.
You are more than welcome to try that. Do you want a stick to have some distance?
Oh, I was asking you if you would do so. I don't have a death wish.
What a gentleman. And Humphrey will walk toward Branson and extend a pseudopod to poke him. I have
You know
10
what?
feet of distance in that.
And you know what? Having this realization of what is about to go down, as you go to bug Branson and wake him up, I'm actually gonna say let's pause there for a break, because I get the distinct feeling that this is gonna escalate really quickly.
Oh boy.
So we're gonna pause for a break here.
And I'll let you
Alrighty.
all go
Okay.
because
Sounds good.
I'll let everyone else go because I've just been sitting here just shit posting in general.
Yeah,
I've
like between
seen.
you and Zan, I have been losing.
I'm glad.
I haven't posted anything. What are you talking about?
No, just your comments, like Zan in the chat, or not chat, but like in voice call, and then all of Branson or
The
Vaughn,
role
I'm getting
play
your
and the
people mixed up.
and the gifts
Yeah.
are
No,
quite
between the
quite
roleplay
amusing.
and the call chat, I am losing my mind over here.
Fair enough.
But yes, I am going to pop away for 2 seconds. I'm going to grab a refill on my water.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'll be
Bring
right
your
back
legs,
to
stretch some water. Be right back.
Also, hey chat, I'm glad you're having fun. Also, Coyote Kaya, thank you for the follow. Ooh, yeah. Help if I don't hit my desk. But yeah, no, I've just been sitting here with like, man, there are so many things I could give a Branson like rebuttal to, and I'm just sitting here like, oh, I
He's
want to
having
be.
an EP.
Yeah, I know, but there's so many like non sequiturs Branson could have just thrown into so many of those conversations. Ugh. But yeah, no, it's been a fun time. Been a real fun time. Also, give me a second here. I'm getting a Discord notification I just got clear. That's all done with. But yeah, no. I have been very much looking forward to this because, fun fact, while I didn't have anything to do this week stream-wise, I couldn't have done anything stream-wise because I was very much sick for most of the week. So, this has been fuel for my soul. Oh yeah, Darky, in every Discord server I make for one of our games, there's always a call chat, and it is always usually inserted with just us posting gifs or jokes, and the occasional of, hey, can I get some help with this one thing right here real quick? That, and also ever since we added, well, no, ever since we had tweets in Web of Deceit, I have also added a player doodle chat to every server I have, because I usually have 1 to 2 artists in every game I'm in now. But yeah, no. I also love that apparently it's just becoming a growing thing of, oh yeah, we've all seen this woman in the mists. Bryce is like, you fucking look in the mists? Because Branson literally just stands out, listens for anything moving, looks for anything moving, and then just waits to react. If nothing happens, he's not tempting this shit. He fucked with the mist once and literally got a sense from the heavens of, now I know you're there. He knows he can do it, but now he is totally afraid of it, but is not going to admit it. Also, now Branson has to deal with the consequences of his actions. For once, actually coming back to bite him. Yes, Miss Scary, who dis? Like to boo ya. But yeah, looking forward to finally getting back to Phase of Our Lives, hopefully this week, because again, that game has been fraught by physical and mental like sickness for certain people, and it's been a good minute since we had our giant fight where we definitely disemboweled a hag. Still really happy about that. And now we have a small child army. We really are the bad guys in that game. Well, actually, no, we're the badder guys, because we are actually attacking the bad guys, but we are not good people. Welcome, robot. We found one of the guys that attacked us last session. Or he found us. I'm starting to feel bad like Tabuya because multiple games on this channel have to deal with child soldiers in different regards. Like, I was not trying to make so many of my games like Metal Gear Solid. That said, I once had a really fun idea for a Metal Gear Solid style campaign, and I wish I could remember it. But the beer has made me forget. Also, let's check and see what's up on the Blue Skies and other stuff while I'm checking here, see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, it is Darky. I'm not sure what I like about that. That's kind of one of those things where, yeah, I don't want to constantly be drafting children into stuff or being the children drafted into stuff. I mean, for those who don't know, welcome back. I will finish this and then I'll take my break. For those of you who don't know, it has become a theme in Saved by the Spell that our characters are realizing that they're only legally adults, but they're still basically children being drafted into a shadow proxy war with a cult. So yeah, that might have affected at least one or two of our characters. If that sounds interesting for you, it's all up on YouTube. And now, Saris, I leave them to you.
My stream now.
How
we
I'm
doing,
here too.
chat?
My mic was like, no. But hi.
Well, welcome to the Cosplayer Podcast.
Hi. Yeah, we're hijacking this channel.
Featuring one
So-
idiot. Me.
Well, we need someone to be like, wow, and tell me more.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Like, that's cool. How'd you do it?
How are you doing, Zan?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I have birthday cake.
Hell yeah.
It's,
Aquarius moment.
Yeah. Playcast. Yeah, you're right, Citric.
And
I realized, by the way, that I may have bit off slightly more than I could chew with this secret cosplay that I wanted to have done by March. It's not getting done by March.
Oh no.
Oh well.
I would rather take my time than rush it and do a bad job.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
I am super, like, excited for you to get that one done in particular. So, like,
I mean,
definitely make it to your expectations.
the fact that I have worked probably a solid 30 hours on one sleeve and it's not even done.
Oh boy.
What are you doing to it?
Yeah, I was about to
You've
say.
seen what I'm doing to it.
Yeah, I remember when you started to sleep, I was going to say, I was guessing around 18 hours based on the progress you would do while we were streaming things.
Well, and here's the thing you have to understand is I was working on it while also not on stream with y'all. I was working on it almost every single day for a minimum of 2 hours every single day. And I still am not done with the first sleeve. And I have an entire other sleeve that I need to do. And I had the realization, because of the way that the top stitching wasn't showing up on the sleeves, I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with the top stitching on the rest of the doublet. And by that, I mean, in order for me to make it look good, I'm probably going to have to actually use embroidery floss because it's thicker than normal thread. Which means I'm going to have to hand embroider it, which is what I didn't want to do in the first place. But I'm going to have to do it because otherwise it doesn't show up and you don't see anything. So what I thought was only going to take me a little bit of time is probably going to turn into a multi-100-hour piece. And before you ask, Kaz, yeah, I'm going to compete it.
Fuck. No, I was thinking, maybe we could talk about this another time, but, like, I'm curious what kind of machine you have, because you might be able to, like, brute force that thing. That's what I did when I made Vash, FYI, because, like, my machine was not meant to handle leather, and I made it handle a lot of leather.
Well,
And we prevailed. So,
the thing is, like, it's just, like, the thread is, normal thread is just too thin. It doesn't, like, if I hold, with as dark as that base fabric is, if I hold the like piece far enough away, you're not gonna see it.
yeah.
So we're gonna have to do some thicker thread. We're also probably gonna have to completely go against. I'm so sorry, Citric. I'm going to have to go against your lovely, lovely art, and I'm going to have to use a different color than in the reference in order for it to show up.
How dare.
Yeah.
I am insulted.
Because
Well,
it's,
you know, it's one of those things where clothing is drawn by somebody who doesn't know how to make clothes, and then it just like
I try my
that-
best.
Well,
It's-
I won't say I
you
hit
do a
the mark.
good job. You do a good job, but
But
there's always those little things where you're like, "What, really?" But you wouldn't know that unless you design. But
of course.
yeah. But like,
There you go,
my thought process, Saris, was using a heavier like a heavy duty thread, like a denim thread, a jean thread, which is pretty thick as long as it doesn't kill your machine.
Sorry,
But-
just the sentence sex men.
Yeah, for Fox McCloud. He is
Me too.
multiple.
Oh dear lord.
Me too, Fox. Me too.
I just saw his name too, Fox McLeod.
Of course he'd be loud. He's multiple men.
There's someone I have to send this to.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're
talking
good.
about-
That was a good interruption.
Well, sounds like everybody's here. Are we want to head back in?
yeah,
Sounds like it.
let's do
Alrighty.
it. Roll 20. I said play. Thank you. I was gonna have such a dramatic moment, and then Roll 20 was like, "Do you want to delete the track?"
Yeah.
Man, between this session and last session, Roll20 has been sassy to you.
I am but a small bean.
I was about to say, since this session and session 0, it has been sassy to Saris.
But yes, there is a 10-foot long branch pulled from a nearby tree, and it is poking you in the face.
Oh, so he switched from a pseudopod to a branch?
I thought it was a branch. Did I misremember? Is my
I mean,
brain-
let's do both, just for extra safety. Humphrey extending the pseudopod, holding a branch.
Yep. Extend arm 10 feet and then take a branch off the ground that's like a solid 4 feet long and just poke. So a solid 15 feet away.
So luckily, Citric.
I'm actually gonna go move you 15 feet away. I'm gonna put you right there, Citric.
Fix that for chat, and then luckily, Citric, you don't get the basic response. Actually, you don't get like hand axe flying out like in the direction of the branch, because Branson fell asleep on his side. So what you get is immediate tension on that branch, and possibly a competing strength check.
Yep, let's go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do
That athletics?
Yes.
We do. 18.
Man. Oh well, he is recovering from wounds, so you feel the pull, but again, he's also on his side, so he has no real room to do anything. He's just like, I'm awake.
Humphrey looks at Brosman. Mr. Brosman, I think I cut one.
Roswell actually.
They are biting.
Roswell's actually disappearing from camp and going south to the bottom of the road.
Oh, okay. What are you doing?
Roswell's gonna have a sit.
Have a sit.
Oh, okay, that's where you are.
Is there something you're doing or looking for in particular while you have a sit?
He is going to kind of be taking a moment to breathe, eat a ration, and kind of sit back while sitting cross-legged, his hands kind of against the dirt, his head and hat kind of looking up towards the sky and the mists. But we could do their scene first.
Sure.
It's a bit more pressing.
Fair. Yep. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
Branson will just emerge from the back of the wagon and just stretch, like get full body stretch, none of his slouch, just getting everything like cracking and popping, and he'll just turn to Humphrey and just go, "Are we doomed in a new, horrible, terrible way today, or is it just the usual?"
Humphrey looks a bit worried at Russell's direction after seeing like there was no response to the joke and seeing him there, but we'll look back at Branson and say, "No, Mr. Branson, sadly we are just faced by the dawn of day."
All right. Anything else I need to know?
Yeah, and points towards the fighter. "We have a visitor."
There'll be several like expressions you see on his face. First is like ready to attack. Then he realizes he's still got his chain on him. Then you'll see a contemplative look on Branson's face, a bit of a grimace, and just be like, "Are we unchaining him?"
I believe so. I don't know when you will be comfortable with doing that, but on the bright side, you are getting your chain back.
Yes. I will let Leechy decide if we unchain him, though I would like my chain back, yes. Do I need to wake anyone?
Is anyone still asleep?
Both Lena and Ephestial have not woken up just yet, but they are ready to wake.
If you don't mind waking up, Miss Lena and Mr. Ofestial.
Alright, he'll walk over here, see Lena, and probably also spy Ophestial under. And so he'll start with... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and for his part, Humphrey will walk towards Razvan, but still keep a bit of a distance, seeing that they purposefully went away from the group.
Yeah.
You were saying?
Branson will just, the same way he wakes up Ophestia with Lena, just gently nudging with his boot against her. Well, actually, no, since her arms are much more wooden and seem like they won't actually hurt, he'll give it a slight little kick. No real force behind, just a Lena, thunk, Lena.
She'll promptly wake up, like, experiencing a little bit more of a nudge than normal. Figures there might be something like afoot, and just like wakes up a little more hasted than normal. Like, huh? Oh. Hi, Branson.
We're all alive, and that fighter from yesterday found us.
Who? Oh, let me get up. And she will stretch quickly, like fix her hair, and then go to meet the others.
Alright, then Branson will do the same to Ophestial, just gentler, because they are a twig.
Good boy. You'll feel your foot and wake up and roll out from underneath. Good morning, Branson. Are you
Morning.
feeling better?
Well, I'm no longer bleeding, so that's that. Do you know about the guest?
Yes, I did see the guest.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, Branson will step aside and give you room to get out from under the carriage.
And as per usual, he'll brush off any dirt from himself and go to where Humphrey is with their guest and kind of sit.
Oh, I believe I left the guest with Branson.
Oh, you did. I'm not paying attention.
No, you're fine.
Okay, well, then he'll look at this guy in a more clarity of the morning, and just kind of like nod at him, but he doesn't really want to engage.
Guy's just kind of sitting there, waiting.
Lena looks to the others. It's like, should we go all ask them some questions? You think?
I have asked some of my own, but if there is anything in particular you would like to know, by all means. Out of all of us, I believe you are the one. You and Mr. Litchi are the ones best equipped to get a better hang of what's going on. We are outsiders. There is a lot I just, as a baseline, do not understand.
All right. And where are they seated at, Saris?
They're up, like, here-ish. Whoops. Come on.
Oh, up front?
Towards the front, yep.
She'll kind of, like, make sure her cloak's all straightened and everything, and we'll, head that direction. It's like, I'll go ask a couple questions, see if I can't figure anything out.
Please do.
I'll go see about Lychee.
Lena will head up front, go talk to the individual. And she'll kind of come over nearby and kind of like, I guess, like, take a knee next to them. Like, kind of like set the halberd down and the like, because don't really need it. And she will say, greetings.
I'm sorry. I finally refound him, where I had shoved him off on the map, so I was actually able to put him up there, so you can see where he is. I'm so sorry.
No, not a problem.
The reason for my pause was I was like, and here and no X and ha. But you're oh. He just kind of looks at you, and I realize, like, visually it's a little difficult to see, but he seems to be, like, sizing you up, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Did a pretty good deal, pretty good number on me when we were fighting. That's for sure.
I do what I'm good at, I suppose. So, I don't suppose you mind if I ask you a few questions, do you?
I mean, I assumed that that was the price for getting these chains off of me.
Mm-hmm. Nothing really deep or anything. My friends know little about most of the things working around here, but I myself hail from Harmonia. Figure I would ask a few things about the local area, see if anything's a little bit amiss.
Fair enough, fair enough. I suppose that makes a lot of sense.
Suppose just to confirm, I believe your group is the Withered Arrow.
Yeah, or at least we were.
She purses her lips a little bit at that comment. You know, she clearly kind of like, you know, person seems nice and everything. They did a hit job. It went bad. And she says, are there any other interesting groups operating the roads of Skald these days that are well known? Besides the obvious, and she kind of like makes like a little note, like she's holding a note in her hand.
Pretty much just the obvious. As far as I'm aware, they're putting a lot of job postings out lately.
Mm-hmm. Is there any sort of... Go ahead.
Can't say too much exactly what exactly they want beyond the job that we took, but yeah.
Yeah, and they fairly secretive.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose a more proper question is there any kind of contingency plan in case you failed?
Well, I can tell you one thing. They're not gonna like that I failed.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as I'm aware, until I can get my bearings, you know, at first I didn't know what I was gonna do because I needed to get the chains off of me. But, with that theoretically out of the way, you're asking what my plan is. My plan is to head south and to keep heading south.
Towards melancholy or elsewhere?
Elsewhere.
Hmm.
You and I both know that, I'm assuming since you said you're from Harmonia, you and I both know that their melancholy is, as much as it's a small town, it's almost entirely owned by them. So that would be a suicide mission.
I did see the markings on many a door passing through.
Yep.
Hmm. All right. Has there been any? I guess this is more of a little bit of a personal one. Has there been any cold activity along the roads here?
Old activity?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna incite you. He's a bit confused. That's a 6. He looks very confused at you. Like he doesn't know what you're trying to insinuate.
Uh, she would kind of like try to like make a small gesture, like with her black cloak.
He kind of just shrugs at you. Like he doesn't know what you're talking about.
Hmm. She didn't expect much of an answer for that one, considering the cult themselves. But she nods and like waves a hand on and says, "Never mind." Uh, have there been any high-profile rumors in Skald? I assume that's where you came from.
I mean, we came from melancholy, but high profile. I mean, when you say high profile, do you mean like important figures? Do you mean like,
Very important figures, we'll say.
I mean, besides the Blood Moon Guild? I mean, of course, there's a Meister singer. Um, that I know that there's a couple of events that they've been ramping up for. I know that the annual contest is a couple months away, and I know people are getting busy and ready for that. And of course, there's the you know the Church of Divine Song. But I mean, I other than that, I haven't really heard of. I'm not much of the bardic type, so I mean that's a question for my companion, but she's not here right now, so
Understandable. I'm not much of the singer or storyteller myself. She kind of like lets out a little bit of a sigh at that one. I guess last question, like, are there any more of your band around the area, or was that your entire troop
that
that?
was that that was us.
All right. Hmm. I suppose for now that would be all the questions I particularly had. At least ones I can think of off the top of my head while we're still trying to concentrate on our surroundings. Uh, I'll go speak with the others. Thank you. Um, and she will make her way to the back of the caravan area again.
Yep.
And she will say to the others, "It sounds like it was just a. It would almost seem like maybe some kind of all calls bulletin for a specific targeting of us." The Blood Moon Guild, I personally, before I met y'all, I thought it was a rumor, so I'm just going off a little bit of logic here. They are obviously very secretive. They didn't tell them why. They just offered money and say, get rid of these problems. It's either connected to what happened before I met you, or something to do with maybe. I doubt it has anything to do with the orb Branson is carrying. But they are certainly pissed off. If they get free, they are intending on traveling far south, further than Melancholy, and are probably going to end up being on the run the rest of their life from the Blood Moon Guild. As far as being in Skald, we're going to have to be careful. Any places with the markings that we can spy, we're going to have to avoid. They certainly control portions of the city, I'm certain, if they're real like this. But other than that, he just seems like they were just doing their job, so I will leave it up to your discretion on what to do with him.
To whom specifically you are?
Oh, mostly just like the group in general.
At this point, Lychee comes out. He's overheard everything, but he doesn't really say anything.
I was about to say to him, Branson was just going to remark, you may want to retire and become a dog catcher. You have a bad habit of catching strays, as he just gestures over to the guy.
Humphrey, for his part, has not been all too keen in listening to this part of the conversation. He's mainly looking at Razvan since he went, to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
What he's been doing so far.
Raswan would have taken out a bottle of wine, taken a wooden cup and poured it, taken a sip, dug like a small few-inch divot into the ground itself and poured some wine there as well. And then taking off his hat before taking that like casual position back again, leaving the cup in front of him. And I suppose you're close enough to hear him. He'll just kind of speak aloud. Well, dearest mists, I do not know if you can hear me, and frankly, I don't care for a reply. But I will speak to you nonetheless. I know not your purpose, nor your master, if you have one. In fact, I know very little of this place, of Karthika. But what I do know is we do not come here to challenge nor compete. Why we come here is a different matter entirely. Do not know where Onyx is. Hope they are well, wherever they might be. I know Branson wishes to stay and remain, to fight and find his quarry no matter where it might take him. And I know I must be here because this place is fascinating to me. Every strange tree, winding the road, every strange face. It is a muse to me. Our newest companions, I do not yet fully know their place. But what I do know is Master Humphrey. He does not wish to be here. He wishes to return home no matter what. And I feel bad not being able to help him. I say this aloud to you, in the voice within her ears within the mist, to let you know our intention. We're not here to cause harm. We are those who wander, and nothing more, nothing less. So if you would kindly leave us to our business, I would appreciate. And to Further on this accordance, I leave you a bottle of my finest wine. In cup, in ground, and in bottle, your choice. And if none of this falls to a awakened ear, then so be it. At least I feel better about this. He will sit up, clasp the dirt from his hands before putting his hat on and standing back up, leaving the bottle, the cup of wine, and the wine that's in the ground. And he will begin to head back.
You will find Humphrey looking at you. Just like making a slight salute with the head.
Humphrey?
Mr. Rasmus.
Did Branson kill our guest yet?
I have heard no screaming, so I would assume no.
Good to know. And he will walk back to the caravan.
So, what are we doing with him? I ask once again.
Well, if I could put my 2 cents in, I suppose. There's no way on his own that he'll fulfill that contract, and he's very aware of it. He's talking of trying to flee, if allowed, obviously, south. Try to get as far away from the guild's reach as possible, because he's not going to be... They're not going to be happy that they fail the contract. One option is either letting him go here, or it might be far more dangerous for them to bring them with us to Skald. I will say, having an extra pair of hands around the caravan wouldn't hurt.
At the very least, they might be able to guide us back towards some form of civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will make a compromise. He'll just say as he pulls the two of the hand axe he looted off the guy out of his belt. We'll give him these and his friend's bow. He only has 5 arrows. At that point, he's very little threat.
Do not worry, Branson. His neck is supple and unguarded. If he crosses issue, he will not last very long.
Branson will look at you and just be like, with the most weirded out face of just like, why would you... What?
Razvan will flash a fang.
Oh. Ugh. You will see as his fangs flash, he's just like, grossed out by the idea. He's like, okay, I'll give him his things and untie him. As Branson walks over, undoes the chain, drops the hand axes, the quiver, and the bow to him. These are all you have to protect yourself. Met them out as you need.
That's kind of sick, you know? He picks it up and he looks at it and he goes, man, I've never shot one of these before in my life. I guess now's the best time to learn, ain't it? What is this, a whole new name for myself? New skill sets? He picks it up and he puts it on his person.
I don't care. If you draw it against any of us, you die. And Branson will just get ready to take up his position in the caravan and wait to get moving when Lychee says so.
The guy looks to all of you. Without giving his name, he starts to move towards that pathway. He pauses and he looks back to the rest of you. I know you mentioned this pathway leads to a place where I can only imagine horrors lie, and he said something about magic and illusions. Turns and he looks at you, Humphrey. Well, if this is my path to a new life, salvation, whatever thing you want to call it, I hope it's not nearly as dangerous as you claim it is. And without another word, he takes off into the fog and into the mist, off in the direction
Safe
you all-
travels.
that you all said. And after a moment's pause, Lychee looks to all of you and goes, well, these mists aren't getting any thinner. Are you all ready to keep moving, or what we doing?
I believe we're about ready.
Does the
Which
road
direction?
wind uphill all the way? Yes, until the very end. Will the day's journey take a whole long day? From morn to night, my friends.
Eventually has to go downhill.
Indeed. We could be so lucky.
Quite the optimist over here.
It's more like Brance just did not take any of that, like, metaphoric language to heart at all.
Like, what are you talking about? We have to go down eventually.
Exactly. that speaks of nothing about flatlands.
Care to join me on the cart, Humphrey?
Will you? Humphrey jumps up. Use your position atop.
Sure.
Tell me a story, Humphrey.
A story.
From your homeland.
My homeland. No, it's kind of hard to think of it. Is so much of the world I come from just changed so fast. The place I come from, the land of Corvair, it was once a magnificent kingdom. They say it spanned the entire continent, but long ago just fell apart, and different nations started a war to see who would succeed it. Or lasted for just about 100 years. And it would have kept on going if it wasn't for the morning.
The morning?
At the center of the land of Kerber, there was the land of Sire. People used to say it was beautiful, just a hub of culture and art and music. But once the war broke, just enemies on all sides, no respite. Whatever wealth it had, it was dwindling by the end of the war. It was a sad sight to see. Those buildings that once were renowned for their beauty just falling to the wayside because the war efforts were a bigger concern.
A tragedy. A tragedy, most indeed. Where do you come in on this story?
Somewhere in the last years of the war, as I said, I'm rather young. Problem is, the reason the war stopped. No one knows why. Completely unexpected. One day, just a horrible mist started to pour out of. Depending on where you were, people say different stories. I, being in the capital, being in Metro, saw it with my own eyes, just exploding out of the Vermishad palaces. The spires billowing mist down to the ground at a just frightening pace, engulfing everything. very few people manage to escape. One day, the entire nation was covered in it, and those who ventured to see what was left behind just found land of ruin. The mist destroyed everything on its wake. Just transformed it and shaped it into unnatural things.
Is that how we found you?
My story, my arrival here is a lot later, actually.
Well, please, do not keep me waiting. My favorite character is yet to be revealed.
Your favorite character is just another survivor. I did manage to find a new start with a family that needed, well, not needed, but wanted some extra help, and they took me in. I started training as their butler, doing my best to get ahead, to get a new start, to get a new life after the one that I lost. And say I was happy. And one day, a different mist took that away, and here I am.
There you are. And I am sorry that your life as you knew it had been taken away from you. I certainly know how that feels. But while I cannot reclaim my own, not at least in a way that I would be willing to handle, same cannot be said for your circumstance. I hope you find this family that found you and brought you in. It's my greatest wish.
Thank you,
After
Mr.
all,
Glassman.
they must be kind indeed if they can survive a war and teach you all forms of manners. If it is as ruinous as you say, and yet they still so necessary to teach cordialness and politeness, they must be strong people indeed.
They are.
Also have more pride. He just gestures to everyone in the group, even Lychee. We're all just some survivors.
I guess we are. We've made it this far, haven't we?
And we must go further. The past is a country no man can return to, and I do not plan to.
So ahead.
Ahead, calm and deep peace in this wide air, these leaves that redden to the fall, and in my heart, if calm at all, any calm despair. There is no true peace, Humphrey. Just moments, breaths, that we can catch.
And as if on cue, as the crew of you begin to move forward, as I'm assuming you do, the mists begin to swirl in around you, all of you. Thicker than it has been in a while, and moving as if swirling at each of your feet. There is a moment where you aren't even certain if you are where you're supposed to be. There is a moment in which the only thing keeping you steadfast is a hand on a rein or feet on the ground. And in a moment of confusion, each of you looks around your surroundings, left, right, up, down, completely veiled in white. as if the world around you began to spin. And you feel almost like your head begin to pulsate. Four of you have felt this before. You know this. This is the same feeling that you felt when you were taken here in the first place. Lena, this is new. You feel like you could lose consciousness at any moment, the world spinning in and out. And then in a moment, it all vanishes as the mist begin to dissipate. I would like all of you to roll me a perception check. And Citric, I would prefer it if you would mute your mic. This makes perfect sense thematically, Razvan, as something in your heart tells you to look up at the top of the caravan, and all you see is an empty bucket, as if placed there mockingly, with no orange antenna nor bowler hat sitting atop it. Ephastiel, you are the second to see this as you've been walking alongside it. Something tells you, you don't know why, but to look up, and you see that your friend is no longer there. Branson, you, with your high alert, look left, look right, danger, where is it? Where should it be? And eventually you look up, and he is not there. And Lena, you see not, but in your heart you know something is missing. And as I wrap today's session, Citric, it has been a blast playing with you, and I really appreciate everything that you have brought to this campaign. Thank you for playing with all of us. You can unmute your mic.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to sting for everyone. I think we're probably going to even get YouTube comments about this. But what a thing for us all to come back to next time.
Yay!
More
I will
trauma.
never miss a session again.
Yeah, no, fun.
I hope you know that you always have a seat at my table, dude.
Yeah. It's not a goodbye, it's a till next time.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah.
With that, Citric, why don't you do the honors of starting us and going around the horn?
Will do. Hi there, I'm Citric. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Citricing, everywhere being mainly Blue Sky, Instagram, Tumblr, etc. As I said before, I do try to do a monthly commission run, so keep an eye out, an eye open for the beginning of March when I open again. But yeah, other than that, that is pretty much me, and it's been a pleasure so far. Like I really enjoy my time here. I really enjoy all of these all of these goobers, and I will say I'll miss it. But again, it's not a goodbye. It's a till next time.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
speaking of next time, where are you next time, son?
Where am I next time? Shoot, this week is pretty busy for me. But you can catch me over twitch.tv/channelscrim or channelscrim on Blue Sky if you want any updates as to what I might be streaming. What I know for certain is that this Thursday over twitch.tv/montyglue at 7 p.m. PST, there will be more Dungeon of the Mad Mage. So if you like really high level D&D 5th edition content, we're deep into that module. That'll be there for you. But may I say, Citric, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for sharing the table with me for 20 some odd sessions, and I will miss you terribly. But aside from that, I will toss the talking skull over to Skelly.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Skelly Alpha, find me at Blue Sky and Twitter. Sorry, not Twitter, Blue Sky and Twitch. Next week, so far, I'm still working on scheduling it. I do know that I'm going to be in a tabletop game on Friday, over on Hatling Hatteroo's channel. And I do want to try and arrange someday this week to both do the Paper Mario Randomizer again, as well as do some more Abiotic Factor with you, Zan, to try and aim for that anyway. Otherwise, I'll fill the relative other slots with like probably more Minecraft. I want to really finish Hi-Fi Rush, and I definitely want to do some art. So probably be some kind of admixture of those things. But yeah, in that case, I will pass it over to Kaz.
Hello, I'm Catastrophe Cause. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet with that name. I am headed out for a little mini vacation for the next few days, and then afterwards I'm coming back and going full crunch mode, so you can watch me mostly on Instagram, work through, SoccerCon prep. I have, like, 4 things to make, I think. More than that? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, lots of crafting in my future. I'm getting prepared for SoccerCon, and some competitions later this year. And I just want to say it's been a brief time I've gotten to play with you, Citric, but you have been an absolute blast and a gem, and I will miss you terribly, but I wish you the best. And with that, I will, toss the skull to Saris.
Hey y'all, you can find me everywhere but Twitter at TixDixel. Not really sure if I'm doing anything this week. But if I am, you'll probably hear about it on Blue Sky or on my Instagram or both. Just kind of keep your eye out. Other than that, we'll be back here eventually for some Those Who Wander, which, I can't say it enough, and I can't help but repeat myself, Citric, that it's been an absolute blast playing with you. You are an absolutely fantastic player. In every campaign that I've ever played with you, you've absolutely brought your A game every single time, and know that it's seen, and we really appreciate everything that you do. Gonna miss you, buddy. And of course, as you said, it's not a goodbye, it's a see you later. But thank you for being here, bud. And Vaughn, I think that's what's left is you.
All right, you've already found me here at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on Blue Sky and YouTube at BurnoutVaughn, and over on Patreon, Burnout's Bar, where we have rewards now, specifically D&D rewards. A subclass for a ranger and a bunch of warlock pack boons. So if those sound interesting to you, you can find them over there. This week, all we really have is Phase of Our Lives, where we will hopefully get to the fallout of us liberating a child army. Well, actually, no, a child workforce, and possibly turning them into a child army. We don't know. We are well above our pay grades, and we weren't being paid very much for what we were doing to begin with. For Strixhaven, we are in a dangerous, possible big bad of the Ark dungeon crawl, where all of our lives are on the line, and none of us are thinking about finals, because it got really high concept for a lot of us real quickly. So if that tickles your fancy, you can find both of those over on YouTube. And of course, I gotta give my flowers to Citric. I'm going to miss you, buddy, but I'm also in like 2 other games with you, so I, unlike everyone else, is not going to be spared all of the fun of playing with you. That said, though, I will miss you, and now I will deflect my grief onto we need to raid somebody, and I found someone we never have actually raided because they're rarely on. So we're going to go to Ainverthil.
Oh.
Yeah, they're currently streaming Path of Titans. So what should the raid message be?
Yellow.
You know what? Yeah, that works. Jello. All right. Thank you all for coming out. We will see you again in possibly 2 weeks' time. We still have to check schedules for everyone. Thank you. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.